Hi, my name is Jovan Karpandov. I will be discussing the Volkswagen emission scandals and kind of going over my managerial report and all of my findings. The first slide that I want to go over is going to be the agenda. So we're going to go over the introduction, the company background, the managerial communication issue, which is the major part of it, the impact of the problem and what it did for Volkswagen, the company's solution and what they proposed to minimize all PR issues and things moving forward in the future, my solution that I think does a little bit of a better job to fix the problem and tackle it head on. And then the importance to the business audience like us, business students and other business audiences. And lastly, the conclusion, wrapping everything up all together. One of the first things I want to go over is going to be the introduction. So Volkswagen was established in 1937 and is now one of the biggest car brands in the world. It has many other automotive brands under its wing. It's also known as the Volkswagen Group. So in this presentation, we're going to discuss the major problem that Volkswagen was facing with the emission scandal. This is otherwise known as Dieselgate, where Volkswagen falsified laboratory tests to allow vehicles with a way higher emission to get on the road, and this is not allowed according to the EPA. A little bit of background on the company, I want to go over this. So Volkswagen was originally known as Käfer and started back in 1934 and then transferred to being known as Volkswagen in 1938. So the idea behind the company is that they wanted to be a community standard for then Nazi Germany in that time, which was towards the beginning of World War II. After the war had ended, there had been major changes in leadership. The British took over many of the factories and kind of rebranded Volkswagen into the modern company that it is today and took off in the early 70s. So bringing us to the 21st century now, Volkswagen is one of the biggest companies as far as automotive companies go in the world. Under the Volkswagen Group, you have companies like Lamborghini and Audi. So what is the managerial communication issue? The issue is that Volkswagen attempted to hide many test results that showed different emissions than what the cars were actually emitting. The cars were emitting actually 40 times the allowed amount that is to be on the road. So according to Otto Anderson with the NFU from an online source published in 2018, the company calculated the minimum number needed to pass as far as tests go and created software that could manipulate those tests. The first major issue, and kind of diving deeper into that major issue, is that they were tampering with with the software and basically failed to notify anybody about the problem. So with over 11 million vehicles on the road, the only logical way to handle this issue is to do a full recall and full rebrand of the software that is on those vehicles. That is the only logical way to move forward and fix the issue. So according to Bloomberg, in an article published in 2015 by Alan Levin, we can see in the chart here next that obviously this caused a major increase in smog in very major cities in the US. The secondary issue as part of that larger problem is that there needs to be a major change in the leadership at Volkswagen, as leadership higher up was in charge of hiding this from the public and hiding it from the EPA, therefore causing all of the collateral that happened afterwards. So these officials have known about the issue and they basically cost the company over 30 billion euros in repercussions from keeping this from everybody else. The third issue that I want to discuss at hand, once again, part of that major managerial communication issue, is failing the public's trust. So keeping this type of information away from the public and hiding these kind of things, basically, you lose all of the trust that the public has for you and the government as well. So responsibly, what Volkswagen should do is take a productive action to be more energy efficient now, as they have not done that in the past, and be a more greener company, which would be the most logical way to move forward. So diving into the impact of the problem, we're going to review a chart here. So the business world should very much study this issue, as it shows how companies can go up and down, and basically what the importance of government regulations and opinion of the public can bring towards a company. So, according to Army Kawajay with the Institute of International Service, from an online source published in 2020, we can see that the company lost about $14 billion right there between 2015 and 2016 as they were found public and put in a public spotlight for the emissions scandal. So, the major issue here is there's a great impact on the company from hiding this from the EPA and the public. The next section that I want to go over is Volkswagen's solutions for the problem. So they were wanting to kind of work on new innovations for technology and be a leader in customer service. The next thing they wanted to do was sell 10 million vehicles per year. They wanted to lower their return on sales by 8%. And then the last goal was to become a top employer among all brands, which was a little bit different of an approach rather than dealing with the problem head on. I want to go over my solutions that I proposed that I think do a lot better of a job. So the first solution that I think Volkswagen should take is, once again, recalling all of those cars and redoing. I want to go over my solutions that I proposed that I think do a lot better of a job. So the first solution that I think Volkswagen should take is, once again, recalling all of those cars and redoing all of its updates to all of its software. So according to Thomas Eager with the University of Hamburg from an online source published in 2018, this is something that the company had to do to rectify these issues at hand. The second solution is an overhaul of leadership at the Volkswagen Group. As top leadership people were in charge of taking care of this problem, they're the ones that kept it away, so I think they should be held responsible. And the last thing, which I think is very much tackling the problem head on, is promise the public and stockholders to have net carbon emissions for all of its facilities and factories to prove that they are moving forward and wanting to have a greener future and be a greener company as they have not done in the past. The next section that I want to discuss is the importance to business audiences. So one of the first major things that can be taken away from this is how government agencies can keep major companies in line to meet certain criteria that helps keep the public in a good spotlight and in good health. The second major thing is just being able to understand how, a rational response can very much fix a lot of PR issues that the company can take and before it, becomes something a whole lot bigger. In conclusion, given all of the issues at hand that Volkswagen have dealt with, I do believe my solutions that I put forward do a better job at tackling the problem and fixing the problem head on, even though they would have made a little bit less profit than what their goals were. So from updating technology to recalling cars to rebuilding their leadership team and moving towards a greener future by having net zero carbon emissions, I have proposed and tackled the problem head on, and I do believe that the company would have taken a lot more responsibility, had a lot better of an outlook from the public, a lot better of an outlook from the EPA, and kind of moved away from just trying to increase their overall sales and only making the problem about making more money for the company.